Hey everyone, today we are going to be looking at the top 4 ways to promote your sold listings to your database. And we're going to be doing this inside the Aros CRM. Now, why do you want to promote your sold listings to your database? Well, it's simple really. We're trying to generate more conversations with prospective sellers. Okay? So, who are we promoting to? Like I said, we're talking to prospective sellers primarily here, but we're also going to be showing you how to promote these sold listings to prospective buyers and past buyers. As most of you know, they're all potential sellers, including landlords and investors that are in your database. So how do we communicate this? Now, today you're gonna notice that we're not just talking about the usual, post about you've sold another property and it's uploaded to realestate.com as a sold listing. We're talking about doing more with your database to really stand out, create a bit of a point of difference, and engage and captivate those potential sellers so that they're more inclined to engage with you, have a conversation, book an appraisal, all of the actions that can potentially follow sending this content out in this format. Okay. So how do we do that? Well, firstly, we highlight market activity. Okay, we personalize what we're sending out so that it is hyper targeted to the area that you are in, that you're selling that home in. Okay, we also provide raw insights into the campaign that was run and the outcome of that campaign. Okay, and what I mean by that is that we're going to give them insights into what actually happened in the sale of that property. So things like, hey, there were this many inquiries, this many inspections, this many offers, and it's sold for this price. Anyone can jump on realestate.com or one of the portals and figure out what a property sold for if they're interested in it, right? So we want to give them a little bit more information than this so that they feel like they are getting value, and they genuinely are getting value from you, okay? And then we also want to give them a clear next step or call to action in that communication. So, it doesn't have to be something super salesy. It can just be inviting a follow-up conversation. Obviously, ultimately, we're trying to engage with them and probably book an appraisal time or, do something along the lines of talking about listing their property. But a lot of the time, they're not at that stage yet. So it's just inviting a conversation. It might be, hey, any chance I can come out and give you some, have a run around your house and tell you what, I would recommend in preparation for sale. Or it might be that more forward call to action. Hey, can I come out and give you a free estimate or a free report on your property? Okay. Cool. Now we are going to jump into some quick examples. I'm going to show you through some of the ways that we can communicate this and show you some real world examples through a few different channels. And then we're also going to dive into the Aros CRM, and I'm going to show you not only those examples, but how we actually generate them and send them out to our database. Okay. So firstly, SMS campaigns, probably one of the most effective ways to communicate this. It's super instant. It's short, sharp, straight to the point because you're so restricted in what you can put in here. Okay. So on my screen here, we've got an example that has been very effective because it does all those things that we previously talked about. It gives them raw insights. It's targeted to the area because obviously it's about a property in their area. So it says, hi Wendy, just letting you know that 12 Jones Avenue, Coolum Beach has sold for 1.3 million. We had great interest with 58 inquiries and 24 open home attendees, etc. Right? So it's giving them that insight. And if you're an owner in the area or in the region and you're seeing this information, it's information that you can't otherwise get or know about what goes on behind the scenes within these real estate campaigns, these campaigns to sell these homes. So it's something that we've seen to be very effective and really engage potential sellers. On to the next one, which is email campaigns. Now, email, as you all know, is it's an extremely effective method of communication. It's arguably the cheapest method of communication because of the cost of an email send credit versus the typical engagement and the return that it generates. lots of other benefits as well. Obviously, we can put formatting, we can put images, we can put buttons, links, all this kind of stuff to kind of enhance the experience and enhance what we're sending to them. Okay, so on my screen here, I've got another example. It's an email example, and you'll see we've kind of taken that content that we've sent out via SMS and we've added a bit more detail onto there. Okay, so we've got multiple recent sales. We've got that same text up the top. And we've also got a button here to read the local report, which in this instance would take them through to a report on that specific suburb and that area and provide a little bit more information. Okay. We can also put things in this email like book an appraisal time, or download a property report, or book a phone call with me, that kind of thing. All things that you can't do in a plain simple SMS message. Okay. On to the next one, and it is a social media campaign. Now, you may not know this, but you can actually launch social media campaigns on Facebook and Instagram from right within Arrow within sort of 2 to 3 minutes. And you can do it on sold properties as well. Doesn't have to be new listings. It can be on something that's sold, and you can customize the ad so that it says just sold, and we can put some raw information in this description as well. And I'm going to take you through that today. And then last but not least is our print media campaign. Lots of offices have moved on from this and are no longer doing it. And I think that's creating a bit of an opportunity, because we're certainly seeing some good results from print campaigns. The old typical letterbox drop flyer when you sell or list a home, it's still getting traction. It's still getting returns. Obviously, it's different in different areas and things like that, but it's still a great way to get your message across and give homeowners in the area that instant, raw feedback on, sorry, I shouldn't say instant, but it's a little bit more delayed than SMS and email, but you can still get it happening pretty quickly, and it's still an opportunity to give them that raw feedback. And lots of people still enjoy holding something in their hands, arguably more than they did 10 years ago, because it doesn't tend to happen quite as much. So, yeah, definitely something not to be forgotten, and definitely worth testing in your area using these strategies that we're talking about today. If we flip over to the back end, the backside of this particular flyer, you'll see here we've got plenty of room, plenty of space for you to plug in those other details about the campaign and things like that. This particular template is actually a free download on the Leadfleet website as well. If you are stuck for ideas and you want to get your hands on these templates, they're just built in Canva. If you just come up to learn, free downloads, and then click on free Canva templates, you'll see it'll take you to these templates that I'm looking at here. Okay, definitely something you want to change for your business, but it gives you a starting point if you are stuck for designs and ideas and things like that. Okay, now we are going to shift over into the Arrow CRM, and we're actually going to dive straight into how you can go about doing this. Okay, and we're going to run through those 4 channels that we just went through. So SMS, email, social media ads, and of course print. Okay, now, as with a lot of things inside the Arrow CRM, there's a lot of different ways to achieve certain campaigns or send certain things. I'm going to take you through my recommended way of going about it and our preferred strategy. There are other ways to do it as well, which we might touch on as well. So first thing is the SMS campaigns. And what we're talking about here specifically is sending out an SMS campaign, and we're sending it out to, firstly, homeowners in the area. Okay. And we're also going to send it to buyers that are relevant for that listing. So the easiest way to sort of narrow down that list is to send it to buyers that inquired on the listing, and also buyers that inquired on similar listings to the one that was just sold, right? Buyers that inquired on that listing are, in a lot of cases, also going to be looking to sell their home, or they may be a seller in the area that's come through the open home or inquired on realestate.com. So keeping them in the loop and sending out this information is still going to be beneficial if we send it to buyers. So first step, what we're going to do is we're going to come into the prospects area of the software, and you can see I've just gone to my properties. I'll just switch to all properties, so we've got a little bit longer list. And all properties, it is going to bring up a list of all the properties in our database. depending on how much data you've put in here and how active you are in here. You're going to have lots of owner names, some owner names, or something in between, right? Either way, what we want to do at this point is we want to filter our property list down to the properties or the owners that we want to send this campaign to. And a great way to go about that is to select everyone that owns a property in that suburb, or maybe in that street, or 3 or 4 streets around the area that the property has sold. It differs depending on the property, the density of that area, how many people live there, that kind of stuff. If there's 50,000 people in the suburb, you're probably not going to send it to every single person in the suburb, right? And the same goes if it's a long street that spans 30, 40, 50 kilometers, we're not going to send it to everyone in that street. So you need to adjust this depending on your location. There's lots of ways to filter this property list down. Okay, we can filter, like I said, by coming up into this filter drop down and coming down here. We can use these quick filters. We can filter down to a suburb or an address, and the address is going to let us type just a street name if we like. All we do is click on that, and I've got a street in here called Good Chap, and I click search, and that's going to filter that list down. Okay. You can also create custom filters and get a little bit more specific, a little bit more fancy than that. Okay. Either way, you're going to go through the process of filtering down your property list to get the list of properties or owners that you are wanting to send this campaign to. Once you get the list refined, I'm not going to go through every bit of that because it is very specific to your area and the campaign that you're sending. But once you get that list refined, we are going to select the properties and owners in that area. And from there, because we're doing an SMS campaign first, all we're going to do is come over here and click Send SMS Campaign. Okay. What that's going to ask us is, we've got a few options here. So who are we going to send it to? We're going to send it to all linked owners or just the primary owners. So if you're in the habit of adding, if there's a husband and wife that own a property and you're adding both of them to the property, you're going to want to select all linked owners. Okay. Otherwise, only the primary owner is going to get it. So we're going to leave all linked owners selected, and we're going to start a new SMS campaign. Okay. So click next, and that's going to ask us to give it a name. I'm just going to call this one recent sale. You can call it whatever you want. The recipient's not going to see this name. It's just for you inside the system. Okay. And then you can see it's brought my contacts in here for me automatically. Now I'm using a short sample list, so the database is quite small, but that is in here. Okay. You've also got to select your sender details. So you need to have an approved SMS sender ID to be able to do this. If you haven't got that, reach out to support. It's a nice, easy process. So yeah, we've selected who we're going to send it to. Now we can add to this recipient list from here. Okay, so one of the things I talked about earlier is including buyers in these campaigns. So what we can do is we can click on Edit Recipients, and then we can come down and we can click on a listing. And this allows us to select multiple listings that we want to include the buyers of those listings. Okay, so anyone that's inquired on those listings. So if we come in here and we start choosing some listings, now you can click as many as you want in here, but obviously if you click more, it's going to be more broad and you're going to have more buyers come into this, and you're also going to use more SMS credits. Okay, so keep that in mind. We'll bring in all those listings, and just to reiterate, what that's going to do is anyone that's inquired, anyone that's inspected, or anyone that has matching criteria, so matching purchase criteria in the database for these listings, is going to be sent this SMS campaign. Now, I would probably recommend excluding matching buyers, okay, because a matching buyer in the database may have inquired on a property from 12 months ago, all right? We kind of want the people that are really actively inquiring, okay? And if we exclude that, that's just going to give us the leads and inspection attendees for these listings, okay? So we'll hit save, and that's brought in a few more contacts. Again, sample database, so it's a small list. We hit OK, and then the last bit is just to edit our content. Okay, and like I said, we've got some great content. If I just flick back to that SMS sample that I showed you here, we've got some example content here that you can by all means copy and customize to suit your business. This is our recommended SMS campaign for this SMS content for this campaign. So I would put that in here. And then once you've written that out, go ahead and hit save. It'll give you the option to send because you've written the content, you've got everything done. And then that's going to go out to your database. Okay. Now let's transition into the email campaign. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my property list, and I just want to show you how easy it is to do that for an email campaign as well. Okay. Because it is almost identical. All right. So again, you're going to filter down to the properties and the owners that you want to include in this campaign. We're going to select them. We're going to go send email campaign. You'll recognize this is very similar. Okay. We're going to send it to all linked owners, and we're going to start a new campaign. Recently sold. And then again, really similar to what we met with before. There's some differences. Being an email campaign, we need to set the subject of the email. And we've also got some options here to turn on notifications. And that just gives you notifications if someone clicks or opens the email a certain amount of times. Okay. The big difference here, of course, is our content. All right. So let's dive into the content side of things and show you how easy it is to move in here. We're not going to do a full email editing video right now because there's a lot in here and there's separate videos that I've done on that. What we'll do is we'll just start with an arrow template real quickly. Click on Noosa, start with this one, and you can see that's brought in some content similar to that example that I showed you before. Okay. And we'll bring in a recent sale. Let's go with that one there. It's settled. We'll bring that in. I don't quite like this layout. It's not enough detail. So let's just change that by clicking on it and clicking on switch layout. And then we'll go with something a little bit more detailed. We'll go listing feature with map. Okay. And it's got all the details. It's integrated with your website and everything's in here. And then up here, we can easily type in or change this content. This is just the sample content in that template. And we can change that to the breakdown of the campaign. You know, how many offers did the listing have? How many inspections? What did it sell for? How long was the marketing campaign? We can put all of that information in here, and then we can insert all sorts of buttons and call to actions that link through to the report, the market report, the suburb report, a booking form for our free appraisal, etc., etc. You can put whatever you want in here, and that's the benefit of email over SMS. We can put a bit more content in here. We can give them a little bit more value through the email because we have a lot more flexibility. Okay. Once you're done with that, we're going to hit save and continue. I'm getting a warning down here because I just didn't finish that email template quite. I didn't link up the buttons and things like that. You won't get that if you finish the email. And then we go ahead and click save and send, and that's going to go out to that prospect list. And before I move on, same as before, we can also come in and we can select those listings like we did in the SMS campaign. We can select those previously sold listings, and those buyers, those inspection attendees, they're going to come in to this campaign and they're also going to receive this email. Okay. Alrighty, next we are going to move on to the social media advertising side of things. All right, so all we do to access this inside your software account, it's the same for everyone, as we go to marketing and then we go to campaigns. Alrighty, and down the left-hand side under SMS, we click on social ads. And I've got some draft campaigns that I've created in the past here. To get started, it's as simple as clicking on add social ad, searching for the listing that you want. Okay, again, everything's going to pop up here. You can select available listings and run a campaign for an available listing. We are going to promote a recent sale of ours as we've been talking about. So I'm going to click on this settled listing. And from here, we can start to customize this campaign. Okay. It builds the campaign pretty simply to get you started. All we need to do is come in here and we can start to customize a whole bunch of things in here. So we can change that content. All right. So by default, it's going to give them a rundown of the specifics of the listing. Okay. But we can easily change this. And we can put some of those details. Now, this is a social media ad, so this is going to go out to the general public, not just to your database. So you probably would be maybe a little less transparent or a little less raw with the details. But, you know, it's super common to put some nice specific details in here. You know, sold for 100K above asking, 28 days. Yep, 28-day campaign. And we'll go 56 inquiries. Okay. And then we've got the details of the listing. That's going to integrate with your website, so they can click on it and get more details of the listing, compare it to the home they own, etc. Now we would definitely change this banner, right? Because it says just listed. We're going to go just sold. And we can come in here and we can make that red. We can make it whatever color we want, right? It's just a basic little editor. We can turn the banner off if we wanted. I'd probably leave it on. It sort of makes it stand out. There's a few other options in here as well. You can even put a video in and do all that kind of stuff. Once we're happy with that ad, we go ahead and click next. We can customize the audience if we want, or we can leave it as standard. And then we choose the campaign that we're after. Okay, for a sold campaign, obviously it's not going to be funded by the vendor. It's coming out of your pocket. I would always recommend keeping it shorter and short and sweet to start with, seeing what the result is from there, and then you can always add on some additional days or start another one with a bit of a variation. Now, if you don't know these campaigns, they are a partnership with our digital marketing agency, Lead Fleet. So once you order this campaign, it is going to be moderated and then launched on Facebook and Instagram within 24 hours on business days, okay? So we're a little bit different in that we go through a moderation process to make sure that there's no spelling mistakes, to make sure that everything looks okay. And if you're ordering these consistently, you'll also have an account manager that you'll work directly with to help you optimize these ads, okay? Either way, once you're done, once you've figured out what you want to run, all we do is click on order, go through the payment process, and then that's off and running. It'll be sent over to our ad management team, and everything will launch from there. Alrighty, last but not least, we're going to touch on the print side of things real quickly. Now, this is, again, very similar in the way we generate our print campaigns. It is very similar to the email and SMS campaigns that we talked about earlier, because we're generating these for our database. Okay, so and we're doing it to our database so that we can personalize these campaigns. Okay, obviously you can go and get someone to create you some DL flyers to promote a sold listing, and if you're not personalizing them, you can do that outside of the database. You don't need to do that in here. Okay. If you want to personalize it and you want to merge data, so their name, their address, maybe some other data that you're keeping against all of your prospects, if you want to merge that data into that print template, then you need to do it through the database, okay? And there's a couple options in here for you. So I've come back into the prospects area. Again, you can filter down based on the location and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm going to skip that just to keep things moving. We're going to select the addresses that we want to run this campaign to. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up to these little dots up here. And we've got two options in here that are going to help us send out a print campaign. We've got the mail merge export up here. Okay. And what this is going to do, sorry, we don't have two options. I'll correct that. We have one option, which is the mail merge export. But it's been designed to work with two really key mail merge facilities, and that is your Word documents. So your nice, plain, simple letters that you generate through Word, nothing new to anyone. You merge your data out of here and you bulk create those letter templates, and then they get delivered to the owners in the area. And it's an extremely effective, but also well-used method of using your database to bulk communicate in print format, right? Again, we've got some options in here. We can do it to only the linked owners or the primary owners, okay? Now, this option here is include records without owners. So if we use that, it'll replace the name that's going to be merged into your letter with the words property owner, and you can change that to just be, owner. Oops, sorry, got out of there. You could change that to just be owner if you wanted to, or you could turn it off, and then it's going to skip anyone that doesn't have an owner record. I'd probably leave that on. Otherwise, if you've got patchy, if you've got a street that you're trying to send out a print campaign to, and you've only got 10 owner details, you're going to miss a chunk of the street, right? So I'd leave that ticked. Give the owner a fallback name. And then you've got some salutation options and things like that that can be included in the export depending on the type of template that you're doing, right? Either way, we do it. We configure these settings and then we click on export, and that's going to spit out our CSV file. Okay, and then from there, most of you will know what to do. If you don't know what to do, we have another video, a separate video that dives into this in great detail. And what it also does is it explains how you can use this data and link it up with those free Canva templates and bulk generate these Canva templates inside Canva using the data from inside Arrow. So we're the only CRM that's customized our mail merge export to work with the Canva bulk create feature. And what that means is that you can in-house create your DL flyers, your A5 flyers, whatever it might be. You can create those flyers in-house inside Canva. You can get a free Canva subscription, or you can subscribe for, I think it's about $25 a month. And you can start creating those flyers in-house. You can mail merge the data out of Arrow into the Canva flyer to personalize it. And then from there, you can bulk save and download and then send it off to the printer. Or you can even actually print through Canva as well these days. You can order the prints through them. I haven't done that myself personally, so not quite sure of the quality or anything like that, but that is all available inside Canva. Okay. All right. Like I said, on that print stuff, there is a whole separate video that we've got. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, we'll put a link in the post below, just so you can segue into that video, because it is a little bit more detailed, and I don't want to drag this video on anymore. Okay, but yeah, that's the sort of entry level steps for generating a print campaign to your prospects. Okay. All right, let's shift back over to my slides just for me to wrap up real quickly. What I want to do to wrap up is just talk about some of the action points that you need to undertake to implement all or one or some of these methods, right? So again, we've talked about email, SMS, social media, and print. On my screen, now you can pause at this point, screenshot it, do whatever you need to do. But on my screen is the things that you need to actually go and implement or undertake to start using one of these channels, right? So email verification, email, we need to go through the domain verification process. We need to purchase some email send credits, and then we need to go and create our Arrow template to send that email out. Now, 99% of you, if you've got an Arrow account, will have your domain verified already, because that's typically done by us. You've probably got email send credits because it's included in most of our subscriptions. And we've got some great Arrow templates to get you started. SMS, there's a verification process to get your mobile number verified to send, and you need to purchase some send credits. And so on through these steps, right? Now, if you need help with this checklist for all or one of these channels, please feel free to reach out. You give us a call, jump on live chat, or email us through to support@arosoftware.com, and we will absolutely help you out and get you off and running with these different channels that are on my screen, and get you sending out these campaigns. All right, I hope that's been helpful. Really glad you're here listening, and like I said, reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.